What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Reality Report with Craig and friends. It's good to see everybody. It's good to be back. I feel like I haven't been here in, maybe less than 24 hours. But like we say, we keep it moving and we keep rolling. As you see in the thumbnail tonight, let me take these off for a little bit. You know what? I'll leave them on for a little bit. I don't want to disrespect anybody in the chat. So if I take them off, it's hard to keep up with the chat. So I'm going to do my best to multitask tonight. I put down in the chat for the first time because I get asked this often, although it's in earlier videos, public knowledge, other stuff that I have might have mentioned before, but it's public knowledge. When my case wrapped up. And you'll see in the thumbnail, there's a picture of, I just want to make it clear why the thumbnail looks the way it does. That's how detailed I like to be. So in that thumbnail, you'll see a picture of, I'll get to everybody in the chat in a second. I give you my word. You'll see a picture of September of 2001. 2 months later, I would be rounded up in a what's known as an organized crime roundup. In this case, a Lucchese crime family roundup, and that would be December 1st of 2001. That picture of his September, it might have been that first week. Don't know the exact day of during what 9/11 Ground Zero, and that's a picture of me and my brother Joe. We call him Joey, who's no longer with us. But it was, not knowing 2 months later I would be rounded up in a case. And the picture to the right of it is in 2002. My case might have been wrapping up, but that was just a little christening dinner because I had a new child born just a few months later, as you can see. So that clears that up. So now you understand the thumbnail. Underneath is the city, and it plays into we did things all over the city. Tonight I want to get into some of the things that I haven't previously discussed in my time in sharing some things in that life. And like we've said before, I'm not afraid to go to places that are obviously truthful and might not paint a great light on me because, quite honestly, most people get hurt in one way or another in that life when you're living that life and dealing in that life daily, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Tonight, I hope to give you a little bit of laughter. Some might not find funny. And of course, there'll be some thinking like, wow, how could somebody think like that or do things that way? Well, when you're living in a criminal enterprise or something that you believe in so much, it's pretty much there's nothing you think about doing that makes you even consider for the slightest bit about anybody else's feelings. And I'm not talking physically. Again, just your regular trend of thought is not to care about another person's feelings outside of your own group, your own crew, your own group of guys you're dealing with on a daily basis. That is your family. That is your brotherhood. That is that's who your allegiance is to. So I want to clear some of that stuff up, and maybe I'll talk about a little bit of the treachery stuff. But let me welcome in the crew, and I'm glad I was able to shed light on just the thumbnail, from the littlest thing to some things we'll get into tonight. Started off, Maureen, how are you, my dear? Great to see you. You know how I feel about seeing your names. Great, Stevie, my man. I didn't see the text, Stevie, but I hope all is well. I will get to it. Hope everything's good. You know, you call me anytime. That goes for anybody, Stevie, all the time. Dana, my man, 100 grand. I saw it. Nikki, great to see you, buddy, all the time. Tracy, you made it. I hope your migraines are doing better. Cinnamon Girl, love you. You're the heartbeat. Tell you that all the time. Tracy, I mean that. Those migraines are brutal. 1 second. You got it, my brother. Wish everybody a happy birthday for me. Much love, my brother, and you'll catch it on the rebound. Thank you, Stevie, for popping in. Always mainstay to our program. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Our community, our friendship means more. Thank you for being a part of it. Nick, my man, Timmy Irish, Matty Boy, what's happening? Dana, glad we got you wrenched up, brother. I feel the same way about you guys. Just know that. William Brooklyn, what's happening? I just want to make sure. Roy, amazing, man, all the way from across the pond, my brother. I know it's late. We'll try to get through this, but I want to share some, what I believe to be some little nuggets or some things that, I don't like to call them stories, just events. Stories would mean they're a story, like Dr. Seuss type stuff. Green eggs and ham. I said I am. We used to have a Dr. Seuss around here, but we won't get into that. So I'm the furthest thing from Dr. Seuss. I believe in the brutal truth. If that means painting myself in a bad light, well, if it's the truth, so be it. We just try to move on and get better from it. But enough of that. I hope Davey T, Nick, everybody that's here, let's get rocking and rolling. Timmy Irish, Dana, Maureen, Cinnamon Girl, Roy, William, Brooklyn, Matty Boy, and I know others will pop in. If they do, they do. If not, let's get rolling. Jack the Ripper, my man. Always great to see you, Jack. I always say, I want to get to you. Baywatcher is in the house. That's awesome. I hope he is. Let's get rolling. I don't like to do anything. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I don't like to script anything. I like to go off of pure memory, which sometimes maybe I'll miss some things, but I find the more I talk about something, the more things will come back to me. So, I never really know what's going to come out of this mouth outside of the truth. One thing will never happen. I will never, ever, 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 ever put anybody in harm's way. Frankly, I don't know that much. Some might believe that, some might not. But I guarantee this. There's no bullshit coming out of my mouth. You guys know that. So, I think you do. I think after, this little train that couldn't, we got enough views now that we'd be getting all of that. This guy's full of crap stuff would have started long ago. And when that started, unfortunately, it was aimed at somebody that I put up here, and that's no longer happening. But let's get into it. So, I want to talk about some not so nice things. I'm not going to give you too many things that are. I'm not worried about statute of limitations. I'm not worried about any of that kind of stuff because, quite honestly, there's nothing that serious. Um, yes, I would be lying to you if I said I never had to have conversations with people. Um, that's the life. You know, Sometimes you had to tell people, you need to straighten things out. You need to find your pocket. You need to find money. You need to straighten out a bill. That's stuff that goes on all the time. But in this life, in that life I once lived for a period of time, um, you're truly focused on the next gig, the next scam, the next move, the next dollar, whatever you want to call it. It's not always a scam. How are you going to make the next one? So no matter what you're bringing in, you're always thinking what the next one is. Kind of like coaching football. It could be first down, and I'm thinking two plays ahead, right? You're matching wits with that coach across the field from you. So you're at first down. I know what play I just called. I sent in for first down, but I'm thinking two plays ahead. What do I got to call on third down? And if it's close, are we going to go for it on fourth down? Sounds crazy, but you're always 2 and 3 plays ahead, or you should be. Um, what I want to talk about tonight is I'm going to leave some things to the end and let this just go where it may. Uh, I like to get into. I used to. I told you guys I had an inn, a very good inn with the archdiocese. We used to do a lot of business with the archdiocese, from flooring to. I told you, there's nothing we didn't do, whether the work was done or it wasn't. We got paid. We made money. Everybody made money. Everybody was happy. So you have to be of value. Bottom line, uh, you could be the biggest, toughest, best looking guy in the world. You have to be of value, or you're worthless. Bottom line, some might not like to hear that. They might think that because they were the toughest dude in the world, or they had the biggest balls, meaning, I'm sorry for using that language, but that's just the fact. In that life, just because you're willing to do crazy shit or whatever it takes, quite honestly, there's 1,000 guys that can do that. And they know it. So you're not so special. So you have to bring a lot more to the table than just somebody that's willing to do dangerous things or do things that might not come so normal to other people. So, but you know that going in. So one of the questions I put up there was, um, Lucchese associate on record with a question mark. Does that mean anything? It really, the honest answer to that is it depends. It depends on who you are, who I was, who Joe Schmo is, who somebody in the crew maybe you're somebody in my group, my crew, my circle, right? Who are you? But in this case, we're talking about me, right? What was my value? I don't know. I know, of course. I believe I know. Um, but that's really what it comes down to. If you're not worth anything, meaning um, something tangible, you don't offer anything, but just a guy that can make people laugh. Well, then that's what you're worth. You're good enough to be around for a couple hours to make us laugh, and then we'll tell you to leave. That's point blank. That's what it is. If you're somebody that's earning, you can make money, you have different things going, legitimate, illegitimate, now you're worth even more. There's different avenues of money coming in. Now you're worth more. So that's where being on record comes important. You see, if you're not, I'll take anybody to task on this, down the road, questions, whatever, for the maid guys that are out there, that might come across this, they'll know this better than anybody. You're only put on record for one reason. It's to let other families know if there's ever a beef that somebody tries to say you were with them first. The only reason why they're doing that is because you were worth something. You were bringing in something. You were worth something. You were bringing in money. It wasn't because you were a tough guy. There's a million tough guys. Nobody needs a tough guy, and especially in the time I was around. In the times I was around, maybe back in the 50s, and I don't like to speak on times before me. I heard stories, but I talk about guys like that all the time. That fourth party shit. I don't get it. I could stay here for hours and hours and hours and tell you about fourth party stuff. Tell you people that I was raised around. Again, it didn't make me part of their crew. And it could bring me to something that I heard a content creator. Well, we don't believe in drama, but he happened to be talking about people that are in this chat that it's their family with. I was raised around, intimately involved, worked for them as a young kid, 13, 14, spent summers in their homes with my family, a young family. And this guy goes on his content, he's a content creator who knows nothing about the life as far as living that life outside of he's read every article that's ever been written. He's probably read every prosecutor's court paper. He only talks to rats, cooperators, liars, right? He never hears the other side of the story. He only knows one side. Plus, he's never cracked an egg. He's never taken a ride at, I don't care what time of day it is, to have a conversation with somebody, let alone slap somebody, let alone tell them they have to take care of a bill they owe. I don't mean to play the tough guy here, but that's what I'm talking about. So when I hear stuff like this, and you have to stay quiet, because we don't want drama, right? We don't want drama. But sometimes I'm only human. It would bother you. It would bother anybody. Like I would have no business coming on here, I believe, to talk about brain surgery. I'm not a brain surgeon. I could read as much as I want about brain surgery, right? I could read for the next 10 years, but I've never performed brain surgery. So what could I really tell you? I could tell you what I've read, right? I could tell you what I read. So basically, you're telling us what you read and what cooperators have told you. But what you don't tell people is how those cooperators were treated like family, raised like sons, and now it's okay once the fire got hot. Oh, they also left out to tell you that they were more violent than anybody in the people that they ratted on and cooperated against. I didn't mention anybody's name. I didn't say which content creator this is. I'm just saying, there's a narrative they like to They like to you know there's three sides to a story, right? We were all taught this: mine, yours, and somewhere in between is the truth. But it's a lazy narrative to me if you're going to play the journalist act, the journalist role, that I'm only a journalist. I was never a wise guy. I never proclaimed to be part of that life. But you come on here and talk about a story and you make it a one sided story. Let's get to everything. I'm not a fanboy. I'm not a fanboy. I lived a certain way. I'm not, I'm a grandfather. I've moved on from that life. But there's certain things inside me when I hear things said a certain way about certain people that I intimately know and knew for a long time as a young kid that were nothing but good to me and my family. And I knew the power. I understood it at a young age. And you got clown. I mean, let me tell you, in today's world, they can do what they do and get away with what they get away with. I'm not saying I would want to see any harm come on anybody. That's not what I'm saying. But believe me, they wouldn't be so free with their mouths. They just wouldn't. Behind a computer, talking all their bullshit. Just get everybody's side of a story before you start to call people morons and dopes. These morons and dopes you talk about, right? That are, I've heard it a couple times out of your mouth. That these so-called mafia guys or mob guys, as he says, with his Mickey Mouse hairdo, um, they're dopes, they're morons. Really? Maybe you're right. Maybe they didn't have the education that you had. But let me see you run 2,000 men, 1,500 men. Let me see you run a $500 million enterprise. Let me see you do it. Let's see how you handle it. So be careful for yourself. Not be careful violent wise. Just don't be so lazy with your narrative. Your narrative is lazy. You're supposed to be a journalist. I'm not a journalist. I'm a moron, right? Anybody that spent any time in the street is a moron to the woke. I'll call you the woke, right? Because it's only one way. You guys live on a one-way street, right? It's your way, or you throw your hands up. Oh, you see what I mean? Animals, this, that, the other thing. No, 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 no. Two ways. Two-way street. Life is a two-way street, not a one-way street. So if you or anybody else wants to just take information that you get from a newspaper or any other outlet that continuously has been writing articles about people for the last 50 years and court documents that are one sided, get all the information, speak on all the angles, and maybe you'll get more respect, or maybe you don't give a shit. Maybe you're just here to platform for that. That's fine, because I'm outspoken on what I platform. I'm not a gangster. I lived that life. I walked away with my head held high. Greatest thing that ever happened was I didn't get made, because then there is no walking away, right? But my head can be held high. I don't have to hide. Everybody knows who I am, where I'm from. I don't have to run from nothing. And there will come a day where I will speak on the people that you speak about, because I only knew them to be very hard, good-working citizens, good people. What I know. Okay, I don't know about anything else. But let's get into this. So, I had an in at one time, as we said, with the diocese. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right, Dave T. That's absolutely right. You took the words out of my mouth. I didn't want to go there, but as you can see, what did I tell you the last time? My ears are getting red. Um, but sometimes, you throw pictures up there of people, and there's another channel that do it too. And I had a conversation with somebody. I'm going to get into what I'm going to talk about in a second. I had a conversation with somebody who I respect an awful lot, and he knows that, and he knows that immensely. I think his work is second to none when it comes to from a journalistic point of view. He doesn't claim to be a wise guy. Never was around it. We probably would fundamentally disagree on a lot of different things, but yet he respects me as a man. He knows that that's not who I am today. But there's things that are inside me that I'll probably die with, meaning that I believe men should behave a certain way. I'm not saying you go around robbing people, stealing, and all of that. No, that's not what I'm saying. I just believe men should be a certain way. That's just me. You know, that's how I feel. I don't believe in ratting. I don't believe in cooperating. I don't believe when the fire gets hot, that's when you know. So when you platform all these types of people and only tell their side of a story, um, but yet you're leaving out the part that they were some of the most violent parts of that crew, and you're talking about everybody else, but you're not really saying that they were the fire starters. You know, talk about that too. Talk about that too. If you're gonna, don't you're the journalist. I'm not. Don't have a lazy narrative because that's lazy. That's not doing your homework. Or maybe you just don't want that side let out because all I ever see you do is parade these guys up one after another, and bless you for your channel. It's so big. That's important to you. That's great. I guess that's why you get in this, right? To have the big channel. Good for you. I hope you get another 300,000 subscribers. I hope you make $10 million. I'd rather starve. I'd rather starve. I'd rather starve. That's a fact. I'd rather starve than platform what you platform and have a lazy narrative like you have. On to the next. So, OG Ruby, what's happening? And, we're going to talk. We got to talk. We got to talk facts, these guys, these, I don't care who it is. It's no different. The woke agenda. As soon as you talk about, anything that goes against the grain today. As soon as you say something against what they want you to say, you are wrong. You are this. You are that. You're a racist. You're a homophobe. You're this. You're that. If it's against whatever agenda they're pushing, they'll come up with a million reasons why you need to be put away. You're sick, you're psycho. And then we see this sick shit play out right now as this is playing out. Not this clown on YouTube. This sick stuff with Diddy and all of this shit. Just total insane. It's insane. It's insane. And these tough guys, on the keyboard with the lazy narratives. Tell the whole story. Don't tell part of a story. Tell it all. If I come up here and I'm not afraid to talk about the wrongdoings in my life, hurting people in their pockets, maybe sometimes physically, I take all that ammunition away from you and I tell you my truth. I tell you the truth. It might not be popular, but you're hearing the truth. You're not going to say Craig is a sack of shit. He's a liar. You heard it from me. It's nothing nobody hasn't heard before. It's not breaking news. So, I can't tell people not what to do with their show, their channel, whatever you want to call this. But I will tell you this, we won't do that. We won't platform that. It's not welcome here. And a lazy narrative is also not welcome here. And if you guys believe I'm giving a lazy narrative, wake me up. Tell me, please. I want to know about it. I've never been a person that tell me what I want to hear, tell me what I need to hear. That's the problem. Too many people in today's world are tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. Not me. I'm not special. I just want to be surrounded with more people that think that way. And that's what we have here. That's what we have here. So thank you. Thank you, Francis. Thank you, Brian G. Thank you, all of you, for coming in tonight. It means the world to me. Let's get to it. Enough of this other bullshit. All right. So let's get to it. So we talked about somebody in the end always gets hurt. We ended up on that the last time. I'm going to tell you about a time. I told you we had a lot of things going on with the diocese. What I didn't get into is I'm going to change some names around of companies because I don't want. I could probably say it, but let's just say this. At one time, I know that not only did I deal with the archdiocese in a very big way. Um, I dealt with a lot of commercial buildings in Manhattan. Um, a couple of the buildings I used to deal with, our very own Timmy Irish. It's funny, we had talked, and he actually knew the area pretty well. I'm not putting Timmy in this. What I'm saying is Timmy just knew the area that I was doing some of the business I was doing in. He knew a couple of those buildings because he worked not far from that area. Um, but one of the this is actually different. If you're from Queens, or I think probably anybody that's from the five boroughs, if you say I got some things going on out east, they'll probably normally know you're talking about Long Island. I would think that, especially from Queens. If you say I'm heading out east, that means you're going to Long Island. I don't know if Bronx guys feel that way. I would think so, but Brooklyn guys, I don't know. But in Queens, yeah, if I'm heading out east, so that gets to what I'm saying. I used to deal with a lot of properties out east. I was very close with a facilities manager that I used to get a lot of work from. It started on Broad Street in Manhattan. This person went on to become um, in charge of a lot of, let's say, J.P. Morgan banks, Chase banks. We'll call it Chase banks, but it wasn't Chase, but it was a bank, and many of them. So I was responsible for not only handling their headquarters, whatever work needed to be done in their main headquarters building out east. I would also be tasked with banks need carpeting, flooring as well. Right. But I was also leaned upon, Craig, do you know this guy? Different than the diocese where work was not getting done. This was actual work that would get done, but I would be leaned upon on this person. Can you get me a painter? Can you get me a carpenter? I need this, I need that. And of course, it made everybody happy. So it goes back to, what are you worth? Well, if you have things coming in and you have people relying on you, you have some value to you. Again, my end game was, yes, make the money, make it legitimate, make it any way you can. And the eye on the prize was eventually to become a made guy. Okay. What happens is I get tasked with, I'll start with this one, with this particular job we're doing out east. I get a phone call from my friend. This person was a friend. We built up a relationship, and this person was a friend. And the person says to me, doesn't matter male or female. Person says to me, Craig, I have our headquarters out in, let's say, Farmingdale. I use Farmingdale. Our headquarters out in Farmingdale, right off the LIE. We have a lot of major work that needs to be done out there. Forget all the carpeting work that that I have for you. Um, I need somebody, Craig, that's a union painter, but that encompasses a lot of things: paper hanger, plasterer. It encompasses a lot. I had access to that, so I said, no problem. Get me the scope of the work. I'll get him out there ASAP, and I'll get you a number. All I need to know from you is, I had that kind of relationship. Are we getting this job? I don't want to waste anybody's time, you know, because I knew where I was going to tell them to send somebody out there right away because I got something good for them. You understand? I wasn't going to three different people and telling them get me three numbers, and I knew two guys weren't going to get the job. I was going to go to my guy in the that ran the crew. Look, we need a painter, a plasterer. We'll make some good money here. Got a good in for them. They got a great opportunity. Give it to somebody you care about because you're going to get them set up good. They do the right thing, they're always going to be set up out there. And God knows what they can wind up with down the road. One thing after another. That's all it takes. You do one thing right, you wind up, before you know it, you got 10,000 people knocking down your door. I heard you this, I heard you could do that, I heard you could do this, and that's how it works. Right? No different. So, the only thing I tell them is, look, the only thing I was told is 100% we cannot cut any corners. This has to go union. It has to be a total union job. We can't have scabs in there. It's going to be a nighttime gig. It's going to be done at night. But from the horse's mouth, I was told, from the director of facilities, Craig, cannot play any games out here. Not that there was never no games. I never had this issue, but it was just being told to me that way. Please, there's a guy that's out there and he's constantly showing up on the site out there and he's constantly checking for union books. So whoever you send out there, make sure they're all legit. They're all good. They're paid up to date and it's an official union painting contractor. No problem. I got it. I give that information to my guy. I tell him, I get the prints. It's a nice scope of work. Probably starts off, if I remember correctly, it was maybe about 3, 4 floors, nice size floors, total strip, paint, some wallpapering involved. It's a nice size job. Nice job to get your feet wet and get in the building. I don't know. I'm gonna guess maybe it's a $150,000-$200,000 job. I'm just gonna throw that number out there. But what happens? I give that whole speech because that was what said to me. I wind up speaking to the guy that's going to run the job, and it's his company. I'll get to him later on about a personal thing that wound up happening. He was also a member of our crew, and he was also a contractor. So his paint crew is going to handle this. My dear friend says to me, I'll call him my dear friend. My dear friend says to me, so and so's guys are going to take care of that job out east. I said, all right, you told them, not to beat a dead horse here, but you let them know the deal out there. It's got to be 100%, union. Yeah, I told them everything. I said, okay. I said, you're mine. I gotta make sure. It's a relationship here I cannot have destroyed. It'll fuck everything up for everybody. That's how serious it was to this person. Yeah, go ahead, talk to him. I grab him, and I'll grab him, tell him he's a grown man, my age at the time. Um, and I just tell him, I said, you got a good thing here. You don't need to hear from me. You've been around, but I'm just telling you, these are my people. They take care of us. They take good care of us. I've done a lot of work. We do a lot of work with them. This is your opportunity now. You do your thing. You do this right, you'll be set. You're not gonna have to worry about banging down little living rooms no more. And he had a little nice thing going, but it was more on the residential end. This is big commercial work now. You gotta. I tell him. His name was John. I said, John, the contractor. John, I know you were told. I'm telling you, you got to do this the right way. It's got to be 100%. You're going to be at night, but I'm promising you, somebody's, the way they told me, they're going to roll up on you and check books. Make sure you do not go out there with any scabs, any non-union guys. They're going to check them. They're going to go out there. They're waiting to catch somebody. So just be prepared. Gianni, what's happening, my brother? Craig, don't worry about it. I got it. I'll never embarrass you. We got it. I'm telling you, day one. I don't remember if it was a 10 o'clock start or whatever it was, PM start. It couldn't have been the furthest thing from my mind. About midnight, my phone rings. It's my friend, the facilities manager. Craig, what's the matter? I hear it in the voice. What do we speak about? I said, what are you talking about? I know where she's going because I just said she. I know where the person's going because I hear it in the voice. So I know right away something ain't right. I'm thinking, no way. He would not have the balls to do that. Go out there with a bunch of scabs. Absolutely, that's what he did. Not only does he do that, the guy that goes over and says to him, let me see everybody's book. I'm going to tell you exactly what he told him. He told him, who the fuck are you? And mind your own business. And don't worry about who's got a book here and who don't. He goes out there totally crooked, totally undiplomatic, paints a horrible picture in a place that it don't fly that like over there like that. You got to handle it different. You got to finesse it a different way. There's a way to do it. The phone don't stop. Now I have no choice but to call my friend who gave him the opportunity to tell him. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. We take a 15-year relationship, what took us 15 years to build, gets thrown out the window in one night because the direction can't be followed. If we didn't have the right people, we could have shopped it out easily and gave it to somebody and just took a little piece. Because that's what it comes down to. But no, greed. Because you wanted the whole pie. Now he goes out there without the right people, and everything that was said was going to happen happened. And not only that, he's got a bad attitude about it. And he tells the guy, get the fuck out of here. Mind your business. So whose lap does it end up on? I got to talk to my friend like this. And I'm not, but I'm a man. I'm pissed. Relax, Craig. I can't believe it. I said, listen, I'm going to get my car and I'm going to drive out there. And, whatever exit. It's out east. Again, I said the word out east. That's how tight I was. Because I know what's being thrown out the window. It's not just my name, my reputation. That meant something. Just the way it means something with our group here, it meant something in that. Your word is your word to your people, right? Honestly, fuck the civilian, but your word is your word. It means something, especially when you're laid out a whole do's and don'ts of what not to do, and you're entrusted with that from that person that's in charge of that facility. So that's why you're upset. Exactly. So my friend, you know, who's in charge of the crew, I already told him, don't go out there. Um, we'll speak about it in the morning. Supposedly he smoothed it over with the guy, and I'll go out. We'll go out there tomorrow and try to talk to this guy. There's no talking to this guy. They weren't getting it. There's no talking to this guy. There's no. He was a stickler. There's no. We're gonna take care of him. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that for him. We're gonna do that. No, you just got to put the right people on the job. It's got to be a union job. He just wants to see union guys out there. He don't want 10 cents. This ain't about taking care of him. It's about putting the right people on the job. Long story short, that goes out the fucking window. There goes that. He gets thrown off the job, but somehow I save my reputation on the flooring end. And I'm able to help another, my friend's brother winds up getting in, and he takes over and plays hero, which thank God he did, and he salvages it. That's how we flip it. Don't worry, we got a guy. I'm telling you, we're gonna make this right. He jumps in, plays hero, and that's his job. And he gets all the right guys out there, and we turn a nightmare into a beautiful thing, and everybody's happy. Now, I'm still very bitter that you put me in that situation with the other guy. You know, not the guy that's running the crew, but the guy that's in the crew that goes out there with the scabs. It's personal to me because you could have screwed up a lot of people's pockets that were making money the right way. Number one, all legitimate, but you want to be a jerk and play this tough guy role, and you weren't even the tough guy anyway. And you didn't know how to do shit. You didn't know how to talk. You didn't know how to do nothing the right way. That's the truth. And I'm not saying it because we're across computers. It wasn't nothing I didn't tell him. I mean, it got a little heated for a while. So, and believe me, I'm holding back. And anybody that's listening knows who I'm talking about and knows what happened. If they come across this. And AD, you did play hero and you did the right thing. And thank you because you saved the relationship. And you know what? You wanted to build one for yourself. And that was well done and well deserved. And he knows who I'm talking to. But your brother wasn't happy what that other clown did. And neither was I because he made us all look bad. Now, at the same time, we have a situation that we didn't know was going to be a situation. That Saturday, I had a bank that I'm responsible for. I'm the flooring guy. I've been with this person from Manhattan, became a big high riser in the company to a facilities manager, and now is tasked with all these properties out east. And a lot of them were some of the corporate headquarters of this financial institution, we'll call it, and many, 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 many banks. Well, guess what banks need? Banks need carpeting too. And who's the carpet guy? Me. Again, done legitimately. Legitimate work. Legitimate work. Well, let me tell you about this nightmare that turned into a nightmare. We go out there on a Saturday for the rip up. The work could only be done on the bank on the weekends. So we got to wait for the bank to close on a Saturday. If I remember correctly, the bank closed early on a Saturday. It was like a 12 o'clock, or we're going back to maybe 98, maybe somewhere in that area. So if I remember correctly, the bank was either closed, they closed the branch for us on that Saturday, or it closed early. But the rip up crew that I had, we really manned it. When I say manned it, we had to put a lot of guys on it, because you never know. And I don't want to make this about a contracting gig, but I have to explain it. Um, you never know what a carpet rip up, especially when it's called a glue down with no padding underneath. You never know what you're going to deal with underneath. Number one, you never know as you're pulling it up what you're going to pull up with it. If you're going to create craters and then you got to wind up patching the whole floor, or two, you don't know how hard a rip up can be on a glue down, especially when you have very heavy stuff that's been sitting on top of it for 25 years. Well, it became a nightmare. When I tell you, um, from morning till 10 o'clock at night, the carpet was coming up in 6-inch strips, 2 feet at a time. We had the best of the best electric strippers. We had everything you could imagine we had trying to pull this carpet up. It would not come up. Yeah, Francis, it wouldn't come up for nothing. And I had very well experienced guys out there pulling. We had many people working. This carpet was coming up in strips. No, it was bad. And now by Monday morning, so when you're planning out the job, rip up gets done Saturday, installation gets done Sunday, everything gets put back. Bank is brand new for Monday morning when it needs to open up. Well, here's where the bad guy and the bad part comes in. Yes, it's a disaster. And it's what you called it. One guy would say to another, a carpet guy would say to another, you have no idea what a disaster we had this weekend. That's the exact word. Well, what happens is this. The rip up doesn't really happen. When I say it doesn't really happen, it doesn't get complete. By not 8, 9 o'clock, I forget the exact time, the guys are spent. And I'm telling you, there had to be, I don't know the exact number, but we had a lot of guys out there. Now, I'll tell you where we cut corners. I cut corners. Nobody's fault but my own. I own it. I tell one of my guys, I said, listen, on the rip up, I anticipated it being tight and a tough gig. I said, I'm going to just grab 15 guys off the corner, let them grab it, let them rip it up, give them everything they need, let them pull it up. Installation, now I need my guys. I need guys to know what they're doing. So when it comes to installing, you look at it like anybody could rip carpeting up. Oh, not in this case. And even experienced guys would have had it was impossible. But here's where I always say somebody gets hurt, right? Especially now you're bleeding legitimate business into, now you're starting to get the street mentality of thinking bleeding into what is once a fine oil machine that's making money legitimately. But now you're starting to put the street thinking into it. So I'm very unhappy. I have no clue what we're going to do on Sunday. And I already know, even if we get everything ripped up the next day, which I have no clue how we're going to do it, because I couldn't believe what I was looking at when I went out there at 7 o'clock at night to see what was done. I still had a half a bank that had carpeting that needed to come up, and I tried. And I was strong back then. I couldn't pull it, and we had pulleys. There's things you use in the carpet industry. we couldn't get it up. So we had a guy with us, and I had him watch. I said, we called him the Hat. I said, Hat, stay with these guys. I'll be back later. And he's a street guy. What do you want me to do? He says. I said, just stay with them, make sure they just keep them moving, but make sure they have lunch and whatnot. Take care of them, and just this carpet's got to come up because I got another installer coming in tomorrow to install all this shit. Long story short, whatever time it is, it's 8, 9 o'clock at night. I'm back out there. I tell him, what the hell, what's going on? Craig, I'm trying to call you. This shit ain't coming up. Now, there had to be at least 10 to 15 guys that we grabbed from the car wash on Tremont Avenue, loaded up my guy's van, took him out east to do the rip up. I'm telling you guys exactly what happened. So I told you, cut corners. In no way, shape, or form would that have changed. These guys worked harder than anybody. There's no way it would have changed the fact that this shit wasn't coming up. But here's what did happen. I'm obviously not happy that the carpet didn't come up. I realize we're going to have a problem for Monday. I realize it's a big problem. A bank has to open Monday morning, and there cannot be a bare floor full of glue with half of it ripped up and the other half not ripped up. So I'm trying to figure out what the frig are we going to do. Not only that, I got 15 guys want to get paid right now for work that's not completed, not done, but let's face it, they just spent 12 hours busting their ass trying to pull this carpet up. Frankie says to me, what do you want me to do? Here's where street and being brutal truth bleeds into legitimate business and eventually destroys your business. I said, Frankie, you grabbed them from the car wash on Tremont Avenue right across the street from Lehman High School. If anybody knows that area of the Bronx, knows where I'm talking about. Yeah. I said, tell them to go back, get back in the van, and Jefe, the boss, is going to meet them over there and take care of them. I was never going to meet them over there. I was never going to see them. Frankie's going to let them out of the van, and they're not getting paid. That's the truth. And that's what happened. But with Frankie, what I didn't know was going to go on was Frankie calls me about an hour and a half later. You have no idea what you just did to me. I said, what? My mind is, I got a million things on my mind, and paying them wasn't one of them. I'm being fully transparent. Scumbag move, no doubt. Piece of shit. Horrible. Anybody did that to me, I can't even tell you what I might have done. But it's the truth. He says, you have no idea what you did. He said, you're out of your mind. He said, do you have any idea how hard it was for me to get 12 freaking lunatics that don't speak a word of English out of my van? I'm sorry, I'm not laughing, but I'm just trying to picture, because I remember how they piled into the van to do this work. I'm sorry, but I'm just thinking how I put my friend who I cared about, who was part of our crew, our street crew, in this position to now get him out of your van and tell them that I'm going to meet them there with their money. He's trying to tell them he don't speak a word of Spanish, and he's trying to tell them that I'm coming any minute now to pay them. I'm sitting in some bar in Tremont Avenue trying to figure out how am I going to get this carpet up on Sunday. Not even thinking about my guys might have a problem getting these guys out of the van. Well, that goes on. Well, that's one problem. That's one issue. Guys don't get paid. That issue goes away. It really did. When I say it goes away, they were casualties of what we call I don't want to say use the word war, but they were a casualty when it came to they got beat. That's what you call it. They got beat. The intention wasn't not to beat them at all, but it got to that point. Somebody was supposed to drop off money. They never drop off the money. I got to think quick. The only way to think quick is okay, get them back to the spot. The same way they saw somebody in that car tell you to load them up and get them out there, they saw that. So you tell them that same person is going to be there with the money. So, yeah, you know what, Maddie? But it doesn't explain not paying them. It was the wrong thing to do, but money was supposed to be dropped off to me, and money was never an issue. We had a very successful business, but now it became more of a street thing. But long story short, the next day we still can't solve this problem. Can't get this carpet up. I make a phone call. I call my guy, another guy that I used to do business with in the flooring business. His business was based out east. I could give his first name, Sal. Sal, listen, I got a situation. We got this. I told him about the bank. I got half of it up. Can you get a crew out here? It's an emergency. I got to have carpet on this floor by Monday morning. It's 10 o'clock Sunday morning now at this point. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. Long story short, I got to go hat in hand to my friend who I've had nothing but a great relationship with and tell this person, I don't know how to tell you this, but the only way I could tell you is the truth. There's no way carpet's getting on this floor for Monday morning. You're going to have to keep this bank closed till Tuesday, till I can figure this out. We can't get the carpet off the floor. We can't even get it off. Not only that, I had to create something. I didn't want to tell you, the carpet's not even in yet. The carpet was in. The carpet was in, but we couldn't get the carpet off the floor. There was nothing we could do. And I was trying to get more ample bodies, and I was trying to get basically somebody else to take it off my hand, take the job off my hand, take it off my hand. I would have took care of that. They would have got paid. She gets again with the she gets pissed off. 100% correct. She was right. That's it. I relate. Burnt a bridge. No matter what, all the good work we did over the years, but that person saw me going in a different direction too. You know what I mean? She saw the businessman become a street guy and now talk, being that fully, meaning attitude too. Like, like how dare you have an attitude with me, like if you weren't, just like I might not have acted that way with that person 2 years earlier, 3 years earlier. Now my attitude was, how about F you, the bank, your sister, your uncle, your father, whoever else. Take your bank, shove it up your ass. I mean, I didn't care. I didn't care. Well, the guy that tells me he couldn't take care of that problem for me and help me out with the bank situation, we find out 3 days later. Remember, I told you a gentleman that was a brother to my guy in the street. His brother was also very close with me. We were like brothers as well. Real brothers. We were tight. Me and AD. We'll just leave it at that. AD. He finds out because he is now a good guy with this person, and I'm a bad guy. But that's okay because we're still in. I'm out. but we're still in, if you know what I'm saying. Our guy is in. I'm out on the flooring end, but to the family, we're good because our guy is in. He finds out facts that the person that I asked to help in this situation, yes, I had an ego. That's correct. At that time, I had an ego. Yes, a bad one, very bad. Um, and that never makes things good. But that is an honest answer. I developed an ego of one of how dare you? I could have been 100% wrong. How dare you tell me I'm I'm wrong in this situation? You know what I mean? But here's where lying can get you in trouble. I didn't lie. Um, I told her straight out, it ain't gonna happen. Um, the only thing I embellished on is I was trying to stall with the carpet. I knew we had a problem, and I was trying to figure it out. So I figured we had this other guy who was out east who had certain equipment. I knew we had a big crew that can get this done. At least I believed that because we had done some work before together. This Sal gentleman I'm telling you about. Um, Long story short, our guy comes back and says, "Hey, Greg, your buddy Sal, he wound up doing that bank. Had it done by Monday morning. So him telling you he couldn't do it, he's full of shit because he was out there. He had like 6, 7 guys. He must have got the word, right? Because he played it off with my friend that was no longer my friend now. He played it off. Yeah, I can't believe Craig did that. That's not like him. Wow. Don't worry, I'll never do that to you. But now he's getting all the information. Thank God she's telling him, thank God Sal straightened this out, got it done for me. He's my new carpet guy. After he told me, I can't help. I'm sorry. I don't have the manpower. I can't do it, Craig. I wish I could help. I can't. Well, he tells me, tells his brother. His brother says to me, I'll never forget, it's a Monday morning. He says, you spoke to my brother, right? I said, yeah, he told me. He said, good, get your friend on the phone. He doesn't know you're upset, right? He doesn't know you know, right? No. Tell him you want to see him. All right. Where do you want me to see him? He says, tell him that he's got to meet you in the Bronx. Now, here's the guy that he does a lot of work in the city too, but he's a Long Island guy. But plays the tough guy act sometimes. He played the tough guy act a little bit. Not much, not with me much, but, with certain people, he would play that role a little bit. I guess because he had a vowel at the end of his name. I don't know what that means. But anyway, I tell him. I call him. I said, Sal, what's up? Hey, Craig, what's it? He has no idea I know. Hey, buddy, what's happening? You ever get that thing fixed? I said, no, I never got it fixed, but I heard you did. Dead silence. Dead silence. Now, up. He said, Sal, listen. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. I don't want to talk. There's nothing to talk about. You're going to meet me in the Bronx today. Today. It was early in the morning. I said, I don't care what you got going. I don't care what you got going. You're coming to see me, and you're coming to see me now. Maybe I added some more colorful words into that, but that was the gist of it. It wasn't a conversation. It was one way. It wasn't a conversation. It wasn't a negotiation. You were coming into the Bronx, and he knew already that we knew that he did the job. So he gets to the Bronx. I meet him. Maybe no, it was in the parking lot. It was in the parking lot of Joe and Joe's. Ruby, I see you in here, so I'll tell you. Timmy, it was in the parking lot of Joe and Joe. Sal gets out of his car. Craig, he starts right away. Craig, I didn't know. Sal, listen, shut up. That's exactly what I tell him. I play the role like I care about I care about him. I give a fuck less. I'm telling you guys, my mind is one way at this point. And now I find out that you did the job, so now I really care less. Now I know nothing serious is going to happen, but I don't know what's going to happen. But he's going to know he robbed the wrong people, or he should have been more honest. Um, but yet, um, it's okay that the day before, 15 guys that broke their ass didn't get paid. Just being transparent. But you see how it wasn't a two-way street. That's what I'm saying. But because it affected us, it became a problem. You see, we were allowed to play that game, but you couldn't play that game with us. Just being transparent, guys. That's how it worked. So he starts with Craig. No, you don't understand. I got called. I know that's your thing. No. Listen, I stopped him. I don't want to hear it. It's not for me to have this conversation with you. I was told to make sure you show up. You're here now. I'm going to bring you in. I could see it, all the tough stuff right out the window. It went. He's asking me now for how should I behave? What do I say? What do I do? You're asking me? You did it. You did it. Now you want me to, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to tell you? What do you want me to tell you? What do you want me to tell you? You want me to tell you how to behave? I can't tell you. You're already caught. If I was you, I wouldn't go any. I wouldn't say another lie if I was you. I can't say you're going to get out of here. I don't know that. But you're here now. I'm going to make sure you get inside. That's a fact. That's what I told him. You're going in. Whether you like it or not, you're here. You're going in the restaurant. And you're going to go in the back. He didn't know there was another room. There was a back room where he was going to go. It was like a meeting room where they would have meetings. That's really what it was. That's the truth. It was like um, an office, like where they would go over numbers and stuff like that, do the accounting. So my guy had that office for that period of time. So we get Sal in there, and Sal goes in there, and he starts copping a plea, and my guy's looking at me, and I'm just waiting for him to look at me a certain way. He doesn't, we were so well versed with each other at this point. I'm actually like, again, the ball's on me, right, to be bitter about it, and I'm just like thinking about how he lied to me, and we had done work together, we made money together, and he thought he was gonna take this new job, this new contract. So my guy leans over and says to him, I just want to ask you something. And he says to me, Craig, stay here. Shut the door. Shut the door. I guess the office door was open a crack a little bit. He says, shut that door. I shut it. It's just three of us in this. I'm telling you, wasn't big room. And I could see, like, when I tell you, he was olive complexion. That olive complexion was gone. The olive complexion was gone. Yeah. And he's looking at me. My friend says to him, look at me when I talk to you. Don't look at him. He can't help you. Meaning me, I can't help him. And he doesn't want to help you. Which was true. I didn't want to help him. I mean, I didn't want to see him get hurt. Too bad. But I didn't want to help him. I didn't. That's a fact. That's my mindset then. Long story short, he gets slapped. He gets slapped. And he gets slapped again. Might have got slapped again. And then, then he gets talked to. You understand why this had to happen, right? Could be a lot worse, right? So consider yourself fortunate at this point. I'm not sure, and he's being told, as I'm telling you, not sure how this is going to play out, but I will tell you this. Um, that money you think you made, that's not yours. How much did you make on that job? Because I know what Craig was going to make on that job. So you took it over. What did you make on the job? And he's mumbling, bumbling. Give an answer, bro. Now's not the time to be stumbling. You got an answer. You know the answer. Any job I ever did, I knew the answer when it came to numbers. You know the numbers. You know your numbers. So what do you think happens when you still want to play the game, right? We don't glorify the shit, but again, slap. Finally, he spits it out. I think he made 10, maybe it was 10.5, something like that. It wasn't a big number, but you got to understand. I had to pay guys, so I think he profited like 10.5 on it. Okay, all right. Thank you for being honest. All that hostility went away. Thank you for finally being honest. Just want you to know, my guy says to him, you're a scumbag. You're a piece of shit. You try to rob from your friend, meaning me, somebody that thought highly of you. They called you in a time of need that you think you're going to rob from him and it's going to be okay. How about I walk out of here and let him stay in here with you? You want me to do that? That's what he tells him. Now, I would never thought of dragging Sal, until up until this moment. But now I'm starting to think, wow, this son of a bitch, he really was, he's going to rob us. He acted like he didn't do the job. And long story short, Sal now realizes that money he thought he made was going to be delivered the following day or the day later to me, wherever it was. I think we met in Manhattan or wherever it was. And, he didn't make a dime. It cost him a lot of BS. I did lose that contact, but we were in on the other end because, like I said, his younger brother, who was a dear friend, played hero and did the right thing on the painting job, which got him in. And I got removed because of a screw up that truthfully started out being out of my control. But when I had no answer and then developed an attitude about it, that's when, calls were made and that person had to do what they had to do. And then unfortunately somebody gets caught in a lie. And that's how that ended up. And me and that person, I think we had one other dealing. He wound up becoming, whenever there was a flooring issue, he was now somebody that became a, I don't want to use the word victim, but he's somebody that became of use. In a time of need, if anything was needed, he would hop, skip, and jump because of he got caught in a lie, and he felt that he never wanted to be in that situation again. So anything he could do to make people happy, he would do. And they knew that. I knew that. Again, there was only three of us in the room, so in times like that, you really see how people behave. You really get to see the character of someone when, are they going to stick to their guns or are they going to, cop a plea and put their tail between their legs and, mouse up as he did. And so that's something I wanted to share with you tonight. Again, not to glorify it because, again, through all of this, the ones that I feel bad for were the guys that did that hard work of ripping that carpet up, and they didn't get paid. I, I'm being honest. I did not feel bad for Sal, who took over a job, lied to me, and said he didn't take over the job. So it did not bother me to see, again, a different mindset. As a matter of fact, you know, I'd be lying to you if I tell you my hands weren't red that day either, you know. So, but that's a long time ago. That was then, you're right, Gianni. And this is now. But I'm just sharing about how shit could happen. And, you know, what's good for the goose isn't always good for the gander. You know what I mean? And I was just, we got so many to tell, and I wanted to share that one, how legitimate business starting in the street. That's why that thumbnail was the way it was. I was trying to show some timelines. Um, and yeah, you can, look, Amanda, I cannot run from, the past. You can only learn from it, not be proud of it, but you can't run from it, because I would be lying if I said there are not still things inside of me, not criminal wise. I'm just talking about behavior, accepting disrespect, being a victim, being talked to a certain way, having somebody in my family being talked to a certain way. They don't need me to speak on their behalf. They know how they're supposed to behave, and it's not in a criminalistic way. I'm just saying, I was never raised to be a victim. That doesn't mean you can't be victimized in the right situation. You can be. But if I wasn't a victim as a youngster, I'm not gonna start to be one at 57. Doesn't mean I'm out there looking to do harm to nobody. No. No. Mindset is different. No. But back then, if you fucked up and you fucked up purposely, whatever you had coming, you had coming. And I don't mean that like, it doesn't always mean physical. People get that twisted. It doesn't always mean physical. Sometimes, yeah, it ends up a little bit physical or more than a little bit. But, oh, you hurt the look. All the physicality, and Sal didn't get a lot of it. He got a few slaps. He got maybe more than a few slaps, whatever. The whole act, crying, the grown adult crying, whatever. It's all part of it. What I'm saying is this. What hurt him the most was what? The fact that he had to pay all of that money back and then be used whenever he was called. Got a problem here. Need you to fix it. Need you here. Now they got their hooks in them. I'm part of it, so we got our hooks in them. That's just one of many, and we'll just leave it at that. I don't really, honestly, these are. I'd much rather do other type shows and leave, but people like, I'm not saying people like to hear this stuff. Maybe I'm just not afraid to say it's fucked up. It is. It's a fucked up way of thinking. But when you're fully invested, you're fully invested. To go back to the record thing, being on the record, it only matters if it matters, right? So if you're somebody that's has a lot of different avenues of bringing in income, and you're of use in other areas, well, they're not going to let somebody claim you that you knew from 10 years previous, that you might have did a couple of things with, that is in that life, that is on the same level as them, and now wants to say you were with them, but they never officially put you on record with them, so they lose. when it comes to the minds that sit down on these things, because it does happen. They'll sit down and say, no, he's with me, he's with us, he's with them. And sometimes, rarely, sometimes it'll come back to you, the person, and say, where do you want to be? Rarely. It's usually cut and dry where you go, where you belong. You know, that didn't happen in my case. I'm just saying there are cases where that goes on. So that on record thing, for some, they don't give a shit. Some are told they're put on record and never on record. It's not like you actually see an official piece of paper. Yeah, you're on record. Here's your document. You keep one half and somebody else keeps the pink copy. No, don't work like that. And I know you guys know that. I'm just, you know, uh, I didn't want to make light of, this, but this is something that truly happened. And it starts with somebody not doing what they're asked to do by putting union men on a job when he's told how serious it is to make sure that there's union men out there. Bleeds into the bank situation. Somebody's supposed to show up with cash and doesn't. Now I got to figure out a way to get, I forget how many, 12 guys out of a van. So shit rolls downhill. Frankie, tell them Tremont Avenue where they got picked up. I got an envelope. I'll be over there. I'm going to see them when they get out. Just get them out of the van. He knows what I'm up to. He knows. He knew me. It's just I couldn't be more honest. Still feel fucked up about it. But that was then, and this is now. A new world, a new me, and I'll never run from the past. Only learn from it. I hope you guys enjoyed whatever content we put out there tonight. We got a lot more Tuesdays, I hope, together. If there's anything anybody wants to come up, you can. If not, Jack the Ripper, I love, man. I love everybody who comes in. You know what? Let me shout everybody out. Jack the Ripper, Timmy Irish, Gianni. Love you, brother. It's good to see you, Johnny, man. Johnny, come around, brother. I know you, I never want to see OG Ruby. BX in the house, no doubt. Amanda, it's nice to see your name. I believe this might be the first time I'm seeing your name. Welcome to the crew. Yes, I did have an ego. I'd like to think I don't have an ego today. Some might say I do. I don't believe I do. I hope I don't. I hope I check that at the door. As you can tell by the gray hair, nah, there's no ego here. I'd like to think. Cinnamon Girl, OG Ruby, Matty Boy, and Timmy Irish, Baywatcher, Dana, Baywatcher. We keep it real and raw. Leonard LaRocca, I hope you really believe that. And I hope you do, man. I hope you like what you heard. Good, bad, or indifferent. You're always going to get the truth, no bullshit. And that's the main thing. Keeping it real and just, right, wrong, or indifferent, you're going to get it real. And, we're never going to paint a fence just because it'll look nice or a certain way. No, you got to keep it real. Tremont Avenue, exactly. Right across from Lehman, there was a car wash. And that's where those gentlemen got picked up, and that's where they got dropped off, and they're probably still waiting for their pay today. No, I don't mean that. That's stupid. I shouldn't have said that. No, it's not stupid, but you know what I mean. That's exactly where. Thank you, Gianni. I'm getting so used to Timmy Irish being up here with me in the boxing. I don't know if I'm feeling these Tuesday nights, and I got Jimmy on Fridays. Man, I'm alone up here on Tuesday nights. But I thank you so much for everybody coming in and giving your time to want to hear my nonsense, what I got to share about my life, my time in the street. Again, it's just a little blip in the life of me. Did a lot of things in my life. Construction, to that, to owning businesses, to losing businesses. I'm a father. I'm a grandfather. I'd like to think I excelled in that area. And only God knows, right? Hey, we do our best, and every day is just try to keep your head moving forward and be positive, but don't stray from the truth. Don't stray. Keep the story the same. It's always the same. It's not as a story. It's an event. It's something that happened. It's real. I don't like that word story. I don't. You know, there's no story to tell here. It's just shit that happened in your life, stuff that happens. Yeah, I was all in, proud to be part of it, no doubt. That was my mind, no doubt. Excited about it, loved it. So excited about it that I gave up businesses for that. Gave up legitimate businesses, making legitimate money. So many could attest to that. That were partners of mine, that were brothers of mine in the business end of things. Family that understood the street well, very well, but knew I was going that way fully. So they let me just go. They didn't try to hold me back. They knew where I was going. That was it. There was no talking me off the ledge. That's what I wanted, you know. But that's it, man. I thank everybody so much. I hope you enjoyed. Not enjoyed, but you appreciated the time we had together tonight because tomorrow's not guaranteed to nobody. And I just thank everybody for coming in. Nikki, always Baywatcher, Wyatt Earp, Dana. Welcome to the crew. I hope everybody's got a wrench. Amanda, I hope you're going to stay part of this crew. I'm going to get you a wrench. Make sure you're wrenched up. We're all going to have wrenches here. We're all the same. We're all one. That's why it's Craig. The Reality Report with Craig and friends. That's what we are. We're nothing. This is nothing without you guys. We're all one. With that in mind, that's always going to stay that way. I say it all the time. Whether we're speaking to one or 100,000, it remains the same. And no matter who's up here, and I said it last night, I'll say it again, we got things coming. I'm telling you, a lot of people say it. You're going to see it. We have some things coming. Now, I can't say everybody's going to like who's going to be up here, but we're going to have different people from different, we want to be well-rounded here. We're not just going to be that mob channel. No, not what we're about. I don't want to be about that. I don't think our group wants us to be just about that. We do different things here. Friday nights, we have our guy. That's Jimmy Mock. Tuesday nights, I was asked through some emails and stuff, Craig, tell us a little bit about your time in the street. So I share it. I'll share a little, some more. But you know what? Jimmy's Friday night. Monday nights, we do a boxing thing. And we're gonna be adding some really, I think, powerful. We're gonna do some music stuff. Some people with music. We're gonna have some big names in the fight game coming on here. People say, how the heck did you get these people? How? And that's okay. But when people see maybe that you're being truthful and you're the same person off camera as you are on camera, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe so they want to help and they care about the show and they care about helping the show. And that's what's going on with so many. So I couldn't ask for a better group, community of friends. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So I'm humbled when people say, Craig, we love coming here or whatever kind words. And for all the people in the weeds, do me a favor. Even though you're in the weeds, hit the like and subscribe. Share. Whether you like us or not, share. Because guess what? You could go elsewhere and listen to the bullshit or the four-party stories. You're not going to get the fourth party stories here, and I can tell them all day. I can tell you about my cousins, brother-in-law, sisters, uncle, second cousin who was married to, who was related to, but we don't do that here. No need to. But someday, I will tell you who and what I was married. And those are facts too, right? But there's no need for that tonight. Ruby, you're awesome. Cinnamon girl, I love all of you. Timmy Irish, I have some. Timmy, I'm going to say this because we spoke about this last night. I told Nikki tonight on the phone, Timmy's not going to be with us for a few months with the boxing, and then he'll be back. Whenever he can spend some time with us. I wish there was a way, Timmy, we could have maybe did some boxing pre-recorded stuff, and then it would be like you're not missed. You know what I'm saying? We could bang out a whole bunch of fights, 12 fights before Tuesday, and maybe we could figure it out. And we could just keep them in the bank. And every Monday night we do a boxing night, but we do it as an upload, not a live. We'll figure something out. But Timmy will be back with us. He's not going nowhere. He knows that. We got to keep it that way, Francis. That's the only way I know. That's the only way. We got to keep it that way. Otherwise, what do we got? What do we have? You got to know where you stand with somebody. Listen, and I believe it. I believe it. That's all. I thank everybody so much for coming in tonight. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, whether it's 1 or 100. Thank you. I hope whoever came in that's new does appreciate and doesn't mind the brutal honesty, because that's what it is. For all the others, God bless. OG Ruby, Cinnamon, Maureen Frick, Francis. Love you guys. Timmy Irish, Nikki, our whole crew. Come on, Davey T, our whole crew. There's just so many. Jack the Ripper, Gianni. I mean, man, I could be here all night. Maddie, I'll go on all night. Benny, Sal, Kelly, Wilder, Baywatcher, Dana, my man, 50 grand. Dana likes that. William Brooklyn, what's up, my brother? The Three Stooges, no doubt, Maddie. Well, anyway, you guys have a great night. Tomorrow night, I know not everybody's interested in this, but we're going to do a NFL draft show with trades for the combine as we get close to the NFL draft. With that being said, everybody have a great night and a good night. I love you all. Be safe.